in 경기장 도시형.
Okay, guys, down here in the bottom right-hand corner of Antigua Shipyard, we have Ostojiy from Team ItsGosu, sporting the purple trunks. He is our Zerg player.
Oh, being very polite
Good
as
look.
well in Korean. Adding yo to
Yo.
the end of sentences makes it polite, so.
Really?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep, that's right.
Cool.
There's different kind of levels of politeness in Korean, and that's kind of like the normal, you know, formal polite. Like if you meet someone, that's what you would use is the heyo form. So.
Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. There you go.
The
So
more you
educational.
know,
I
yes.
know.
I have my little NBC star
Yeah.
flying across. Okay, here in the top left-hand corner, though, is his opponent from Team ZeNEX. That is Extreme.
ZeNEX.Extreme. This
Yes.
guy is on ladder all the time. Everybody in
Extreme.
Korea has stories about playing this guy on ladder. So, yeah, he's a big ladder player. He's seen a lot of stuff, which makes him pretty adaptable to whatever he ends up seeing, which makes him good against foreign players, I would say, which
Sure.
are more likely to throw something at a Korean that he hasn't seen before.
Certainly.
Oh, and just to add to the whole yo thing real quick, with that, when you see a player go GG yo in Korean, they're not like, yo dog, that was a good game. It's like GG yo is in a very polite way of saying, you know, you played a very good game. It's kind of like saying
Gotcha.
GG well played in the Korean style. So.
Oh, okay. I like
There you
that. All right, thank you very much.
You're
I
welcome.
will begin using that in every game I play now.
Anytime, man.
Okay, so taking a look, looks like a 13 pool from Ostojiy. And he's producing a couple of drones after that, but he should be pretty nice and safe against any sort of block at the beginning
yeah.
of the game. And his opponent throwing down gas. And really have to wait to see what sort of build he wants to go for. Sentry Expand's very popular here on this map. That's not a terribly wide ramp, and you can watch it with a few gateway units to guard against early pressure.
Well, it's interesting to see kind of a resurgence, if I dare use the word again, of gateway expands on this map, because this one for the last couple of months we saw a lot of Protoss players trying to forge expand on it instead. Yep,
Yes.
we see the pylon going there down there to block the hatchery, but especially players like Naniwa who would say things like forge expand or die trying. You know,
Yes.
I mean. So there's been a lot of attempts to make it work, but certain maps like this, and I really feel like this is one of the maps that in general the gateway expands have been a little bit safer, worked a little bit better overall.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's what we're kind of going to see become the standard on a map like this.
All right, Ostojiy actually makes 6 slings there, rather than producing the normal 4 with the additional drone on top of that.
Yep.
And he is eventually going to take out that pylon. The probe gets a full scout, though. Checking for gas timing's not going to be given away, as we know, an expansion coming up and soon to be probably a second queen to begin creep spread and making its way over to the next hatchery.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back on Extreme side, which I have to say it that way every time, we have Stalker actually following this Zealot. We were kind of talking about this a little bit yesterday. Producing that Stalker right afterwards could trick your opponent into thinking that a couple of different builds are coming out. But we are just remaining on 1 gas for the time being. If this has been some sort of a quick sentry expand,
Yeah.
this would have been double gas for sure.
Yep, well, I could go and do a couple things with that. But yeah, you're right. We probably would have seen the second gas a little bit earlier if it would have been some sort of sentry expand. Getting it on, no, is it 25? Is a little bit later. I think usually it's around 2021. I don't
Yeah.
play Protoss, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's around when I usually get it when I play. But, oh, nice job by Ostojiy catching that Stalker in the middle of the map. Chasing away a little bit. It was, one of those situations where, yeah, I might be able to take the Stalker out, but I would lose most of my lings.
Yeah.
Better to kind of keep those for map control. So, oh, it looks like he does manage to corner it, though. Very nicely done.
Yeah.
By Ostojiy. That's a nice little early score.
Certainly. He has only lost 1 Zergling. Now, is he
Oh,
going to get
wow.
a second? No. Looks
Not
like
with that
Extreme
Zealot
backs
there.
away. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
definitely right with the Zealot down there. And he is starting to save up a little more resources
Oh,
now, but wanted to put
interesting.
on early pressure with those Stalkers. And with the one going down, not terribly cost-effectively, we'll see if it comes back to bite him.
Well, I don't think these Zerglings are going to be able to do a whole lot of
There we
damage,
go.
but they might. No, not going to be able to get in the base. Oh, he could. He does get a Zergling in the base. Oh, very nicely done by Ostojiy. And a bit of a mistake by ZeNEX.Extreme there, letting the Zergling see basically everything, although the probe might catch it. It's got 6 hit points, so it's got 2 hits worth. And, yeah, he's going to see basically everything. Well, not basically, just everything.
Yes, he does.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We'll know it's a 1-gate expand then. A little bit of a risk from Extreme. We'll have to see if Ostojiy can capitalize on that.
Definitely, and he himself is putting a spy crawler back at home, and following that, actually, as soon as he saw what was going on, he decided to throw down an evolution chamber right away. And then, on the flip side of things, we actually saw ZeNEX.Extreme put up a Stargate right afterwards.
Yeah, it's a great response. I didn't quite check to see if Ostojiy clicked on the gas to see how much had been mined from the second one or not. That would have kind of tipped him off as well. But yeah, pretty safe, educated guess to kind of anticipate Stargate. At the very least, Evolution Chamber, of course, keeps you safe against things. Yep, and just put a Spore Crawler in each base. Perfectly fine.
Certainly, and going to remain very well defended as he goes ahead and macros up. Already has the +1 missile attacks researching.
Interesting.
Despite the fact that there's really nothing that's going to be able to take advantage of that quite yet. There's the Roach one coming down.
Yeah. All right. Yep, so it looks like he will decide to try to put some Roach pressure on a little bit later in the game. We'll have to see how that goes. Hopefully he's not going to just Mondragon it up and just ignore everything that's going on and make Roaches.
I still love making Mondragon references. I get chided by some people here at times, but I'm glad someone appreciates them. So.
Oh yeah, well, it was an interesting series. Well, it was an interesting time for PVZ.
Sure,
we'll put it that way.
TSL 3, man. Oh.
I think so. Yeah, earlier last year. Yep.
I love the Mondragon list of counters. Is one of my favorite things that r/StarCraft has ever put up.
Yeah.
Roach is the counter to everything except for Phoenix. And what's the counter to Phoenix? Hatchery.
Ah, that's right.
All right. We do have a Phoenix following up this Void Ray now. Void Ray making its way out. And it's going to reveal itself pretty soon, as now I think it's coming to vision of the Xel'Naga. Yep, there it is.
Yep, so he'll know about it right away. And the question is how is Ostojiy going to kind of respond to this? He's making another queen. Can make 2 queens at once because he's getting the lair off that 1 hatchery. But we'll see. He does have his macro hatchery up. So, he basically is going to 1-base pretty hard, make sure he's safe, and then expand. I think that's perfectly fine given the situation. But we'll see how it ends up working out.
And looks like one Overlord is taking quite a bit of damage. This Void Ray is going to suffer a lot in return. Has to get away now.
Yep. Taking a lot of damage on that Void Ray.
It did. Got itself an Overlord kill, but lost a lot of health.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you ask yourself, is it really worth it? Oh, I like that. Just hiding the Zealot there to watch for the expansion.
Yep.
It's going to be tough for the Queens to get over there and defend it. It's going to take a little while. Oh, the creep spread's actually a little bit better than I thought it was, so he's going to have a perfectly fine time with this.
Void Ray is going to have to back away right away, and gets away with just 6 hit points.
That is 1 Queen hit away from being dead.
Zealot still going to town, but unfortunately his job's now in vain.
Man, and a Hydralisk den for Ostojiy, so he's going to go right into Roach Hydra, I guess, with upgrades. We'll have to see how well that goes because ZeNEX.Extreme is getting a Robo Bay. So this could be, one of those situations where ZeNEX.Extreme kind of backs off, plays it safe, gets his third up, gets the 200, try to gets that. My sentences suddenly aren't working, but tries to basically go for the Protoss Death Ball. This is this PVZ right now, just kind of like the ones we saw yesterday. Looks like it's from like 4 or 5 months ago. It's very interesting.
And looks like this queen is lifted off. There's a pretty decent placement from the Spore Crawler, but now it has to reposition itself as this hatchery is once again under fire. Down to less than half its health already. And Spore Crawler will eventually burrow, but of course he can just play Ring Around the Rosie with this Void Ring, keep moving into advantageous positions. Hopefully gets that out of the way right now as a bunch of units are moving up, and the Void Ring does end up going down.
Yep. Oh, and there is the robotics bay for ZeNEX.Extreme on the production tab as well, so he will indeed be going into that Colossus tech. I think that's a good response, especially after seeing the Hydras. It's kind of a situation, as we see that harassment going on, where ZeNEX.Extreme is going to be pretty happy with what he sees. He's like, all right, Roach Hydra, I know what to do against that. It's pretty easy. Oh, but look at the production queue. There is a Spire coming up right now for Ostojiy.
It's probably hidden well out of view. There it is.
Yep.
The very bottom right-hand corner of the base.
So he kind of has a pretty good idea about what's going on. He's going to be ready for those Colossi with the Corruptors, or he might just decide to go Mutas and try to harass too. We'll have to see what he picks.
Very possible. As we mentioned before, a handful of Corruptors makes a very large force of Phoenixes almost worthless. But we're going to see how much more these Phoenixes can do now as one random Hydralisk being sent out across the map. GoSu.ostojiy. All right. Here comes the Phoenixes now. It looks like one may go down. Wow, actually surviving with just a couple of hit points. 10 life. They do back away. How many workers have been killed so far? Looks like 10 altogether. Not bad harassment.
Yeah, decent harassment from ZeNEX.Extreme. It's good that he didn't make more than 5 Phoenixes. 5 is about the max you'd want to have in a situation where you were going to go into the Robo this quick. So, yeah, he's in a pretty good position right now. I was a little bit worried for Ostojiy for a moment. I saw him move his Hydras way out into the center of the map, and that is something you generally don't want to do unless there's creep
underneath. I think our lone Ranger did end up going down, yes.
He was so brave. He tried so hard and got so far.
But in the end
it didn't really
even matter.
No.
Oh well,
it happens.
All right, here comes the pretty big engagement as a possibility now here in a bit as one Colossus has joined this force. Of course, we have the large group of Hydra sitting down here at the bottom right, but, you know, Ostojiy has been droning up for quite a while now, sitting on 72 drones on 3 bases. Not a lot of attack units on the ground. We do have a bunch of roaches now popping up with Hive Tech just finishing. I don't believe any air units have been made. No, they have not.
Yeah, he looks like he's going for a quick Raider Spire. Yeah, there it is right now. So that may come back to haunt him because he really could use a few Corruptors. He's producing 5 now, so I think he should be okay for handling this push that comes out. We'll see, but yeah, a little bit of a risk. I don't know. Looks like ZeNEX.Extreme wants to go for it too.
Yeah, that's a big tech investment out of Ostojiy right now, and looks like there's enough there, though, to force ZeNEX.Extreme back and at least pick off a couple of free tumors to give himself a more advantageous position in the middle of the map.
It's a small army. I like how the Spine Crawler's up in front. Ooh, nice. Baiting those 4 force fields out from ZeNEX.Extreme. I think ZeNEX.Extreme knows that he needs to pull back. His army's a little bit small to take that on at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but he's moving up to 3 base now, and he has a pretty good technological base to work off of as well. Still picking off quite a few drones, but as we know, Ostojiy have produced a ton of workers to begin with as well, so he's doing a little bit of damage, but a couple of Phoenixes go down.
Uh-oh, leaves his Spine Crawlers undefended in the middle of the map, though. Loses that little bit of defense that he had. That's a bit of an unfortunate circumstance for him as well. And, you know, I gotta say, ZeNEX.Extreme is doing a really good job of keeping the game played on his opponent's side of the map. That's a really, really good thing to try to do, of course, is to just kind of keep all the action away from your stuff.
And he's also doing a good job at preventing this further creep expansion as well and making sure that his army is positioned just on the edges of the creep and opening up multiple attack paths. So, we do have one Broodlord move morphing in right now, but that's about it at the moment. And Ostojiy has to watch out because a lot of those units could get trapped very quickly.
Yeah, the angle isn't going to be terribly good for our Zerg player here. He needs to run all his drones away, which is exactly what he did. And is he just going to up this ramp? Oh, I don't know if this is going to work that great.
No, not at all. Needs to be able to flank here in a second as well, but now he's down to 2 base. These units just have no possible way to make it up that ramp. Yeah,
that's the problem. When you get the Protoss army up that ramp in the back of the 3rd like that, it becomes so difficult to engage it if you're Zerg or Terran or whatever. And yeah, this is just not going to work. I think ZeNEX.Extreme is going to take this game.
Yeah, this actually ended up a very, very nice engagement because especially if ZeNEX.Extreme had attacked about a minute and a half, 2 minutes later when there were more Broodlords out there, Ostojiy was also had very, very nice positioning as well, but Extreme, great time to attack.
Those 2 Colossus in the back doing so much damage. I mean, the Broodlords don't really do a whole lot. No. One of those Colossus even a little bit low. I think if he had left the Corruptors as Corruptors a little bit longer, been a little bit better with the positioning, it might have helped. But yeah, it's just such a rough situation for Zerg to be in where the Protoss gets up on this high ground. And you can see that right there. I mean, there's hardly even any gateway defense. Looks like he might just push him back, but being down to 2 bases right now is going to really, really make it hard for him to come back.
No, agreed. ZeNEX.Extreme is actually quite far ahead in this game now, producing off of that 3-base economy. But mostly it was less even just what Ostojiy was doing, pushing it back, and more just that these were rallied in a really bad spot. And he gave away a bunch of Stalkers for free there. But maybe that was the victory lap for ZeNEX.Extreme. Let's go ahead and take a look back. Huang Sin has left the game.
He's out of here.
Disgusted.
Yep.
No. But it looks like we have 2 more bases now for Ostojiy.
Yeah.
Did just finish up the one down at the 6 o'clock position, also building the one at the 3 o'clock.
Yep. I mean, he's not quite out of it yet. I suppose maybe I was a bit premature with the call at a little bit earlier, but I don't know. He's retaken a 3rd. He's gotten enough drones there. What's the worker count right now?
See.
It is a bit low. Yeah, 56. That is a bit low. He's definitely going to really struggle to hit max here, whereas ZeNEX.Extreme, you know, is going to be able to produce just a really, really beefy army. You know, the supply count isn't quite as important to him because his units do so much damage if they're positioned well. So,
and ZeNEX.Extreme has been on top of his macro the whole time as well, and he's still sitting on 3-base economy, and Protoss can support 3-base for quite a long period of time, especially in this kind of endgame scenario. But now it's 60 workers to 65. There are a few more Corruptors out there, but of course we just have the 2 remaining Broodlords sitting around. The extra Corruptors that have come up are just remaining as Corruptors, which is not a terrible decision, given the fact that there are a number of Void Rays supporting this army as well.
Yep, the good old Void Ray Colossus Deathball. Everybody knows it. Every Zerg hates it. The Protoss loves it, and it's going to be very, very difficult to deal with. I mean, Ostojiy is up by about 20 supply right now, so with good positioning, he could kill this army. It's possible. Oh yeah, Fleet beacon. Interesting.
All
we'll have
right.
to see if he wants to make carriers moves or he wants to make a mothership.
Patch changes for carriers, man.
I saw that.
That was brilliant.
That's a whole different story. We could do a whole talk show on the carrier.
Yeah, definitely. Have to give r/StarCraft credit for that one as well. The patch change for the carriers, basically none. Okay, so here we go. Looks like, you know, Ostojiy actually catching a couple of units off guard here, getting a little bit of free damage. Never a bad thing. ZeNEX.Extreme is actually going up to a 4th base. However, that is in a little bit less defended position. That's kind of odd positioning there, because if that gets picked up on, which it is, that could go down with a relatively small task force. In fact, said task force is going to be 3 roaches.
That's maybe a little bit small of a relatively small task force, but we'll see what happens. A mothership and a warp prism on the way, interestingly enough.
Well, game number 1 starting with a mothership.
Yep. Will he need it, though?
And looks like ZeNEX.Extreme was, of course, attacking into a bad position there, so backs up right away. Ostojiy sitting on the high ground here with those multiple attack paths available is going to be in a pretty good position to deflect that main force. And you were right. Yes, that was a little bit too small of a task force. Yeah,
a little bit here. Sending a few more roaches and hydras over. Don't know if he's going to be able to really cause the cancel, though. We'll see that Nexus is almost finishing, and Extreme can just warp in another round of units right there and defeat it. Or he can just bring his army. That'll work, too. So, yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to cancel the Nexus. Oh, no. And all these units...
he backed up for a second.
Oh, yeah,
but he's still going to get it.
Trapped, yeah. Yep, it happens. So, looks like Ostojiy's going to try to get into Infestors here. Oh, but trying to attack the army is a bit split up, but I don't know. This kind of gives a good concave to our Protoss player.
Yeah. It was. I saw his decision was just to try and split that army in half and catch some of them off guard, but you're exactly right. It set up our Protoss player for the perfect concave. This air units in this Colossus has just not been touched yet.
Oh, yeah. Yep, there's not enough stuff here for Ostojiy. The Void Rays all charged up. Colossus still alive in the back. And yeah, these units coming in, and you know what? Hydras and Queens really can't run away terribly well. Oh no, losing all his drones. Yeah, I think it's just kind of falling apart right now for a Zerg player right now.
Yeah, certainly, and especially because that 4th base was maintained, we will actually eventually see some probes transferred over there. And there they go. So he is going to be on quite a good economy right now with this, I guess, 4th base going down now for Ostojiy, but that's going to put him on very bad economic terms.
Yep, it's going to be pretty tough.
Let's see here. A couple more Corruptors just popping up, and they are going to go down unceremoniously. Looks like, there we go. Following.
Yep. The 4th base, the bottom center, obviously taking out Warp Prism, warping things in the main. And yeah, I mean, Ostojiy's doing a good job of kind of trying to valiantly survive here, but you know, I think we can kind of hand the game to Extreme at this point. When Ostojiy lost his 3rd, a couple minutes ago, maybe about 5 minutes ago, that was really kind of the beginning of the end for him, and he made a good effort, but it's just so difficult to engage this Protoss Deathball just perfectly, you know?
Yeah, and a nice job here by ZeNEX.Extreme just to pull a few units off there, and there it is, GG. So ZeNEX has gone up 1-0 now in this best of 9.
Yeah, ZeNEX.Extreme playing a very standard... Oh, there's a mothership too. She decided to join in.
Yes.
Yep.